Shadows of the favela. In the heart of Sao Paulo's favelas, where hope clung to crumbling walls like faded graffiti, Alex Pereira was born. His mother, blind and deaf, struggled to care for her 14 children. Alex's father, a ghostly figure, drowned his sorrows in cheap liquor. Their tiny shack smelled of damp earth and despair. Alex's childhood was a patchwork of hunger, neglect, and survival. He scavenged for food, his small hands digging through garbage heaps. The sun rarely touched his skin. Instead, he navigated the labyrinthine alleys by touch and memory. His siblings were both allies and rivals, each fighting for a morsel of love in their mother's silent gaze. At 9, orphaned by fate, Alex found refuge beneath a rickety table in a local bar. The patrons paid him no mind. They were too busy drowning their own demons. The air reeked of stale beer and broken dreams. Alex listened to their slurred confessions, their laughter tinged with bitterness. "Life's a cruel joke," the bartender would say, wiping the counter. "We're all just waiting for the punchline." When Alex turned 12, he left the bar's shadows. He became a bricklayer's apprentice, hauling heavy stones under the unforgiving sun. His back curved like a question mark, and his dreams, once vivid as the graffiti, faded to gray. School was a distant memory. Survival was the only lesson he needed. The other boys mocked him, their laughter echoing through the narrow streets. "Look at Pereira," they'd sneer. "He's nothing but dirt and sweat." One day, Alex stumbled upon a tire shop. The owner, a grizzled man named Carlos, offered him work. Not in money, but in alcohol. Alex hesitated, but the thirst, the gnawing emptiness, won. He accepted the deal, trading sobriety for rubber dust and gasoline fumes. "Drink up, kid," Carlos would say, sliding a bottle across the counter. "It'll numb the ache." And so, Alex drank. A shot turned into a gulp into a chug. The world blurred, and he forgot the hunger, the bruises, the ache of abandonment. The tire shop became his sanctuary, the bottles his confidants. But fate had other plans. One sweltering afternoon, Alex stumbled upon a kickboxing gym. The air crackled with energy, the thud of gloves against pads, the sweat-soaked canvas. Coach Wilson Nunes saw something in Alex, a spark, buried beneath layers of hardship. "You're a fighter," Nunes declared. "Not just in the ring, but in life." Alex trained, his fists pounding the bag, his body a vessel for rage and longing. The gym became his refuge, the ring his confession booth. He fought not for glory, but for survival. And slowly, the alcohol loosened its grip. Balakwa Wera, an indigenous herbalist, entered Alex's life. Wera sensed the poison in his veins, the alcohol, the pain. Together, they brewed a concoction, a bitter elixir of roots and leaves. Alex choked it down, the taste searing his throat. "This will cleanse you," Wera whispered. "From the inside out." And it did. Alex's body purged the toxins, but his soul still bore scars. He dreamed of redemption, the ring, the canvas, the roar of the crowd. But the favela's shadows clung to him, whispering of lost childhoods and broken promises. Alex Pereira, the boy who ate dust and drank despair, stepped into the kickboxing ring. His fists danced, weaving stories of survival. The crowd cheered, unaware of the battles he'd fought beyond the ropes. "I did it," Alex would tell anyone who listened. "I went from forgotten to fierce." And so, the favela watched, a silent witness, as Alex Pereira carved his name into the gritty streets. The drama unfolded, the suffering etched in every scar. But redemption? That was a story yet to be written. The favela pulsed with secrets, its narrow alleys a labyrinth of temptation. Alex's bad friends, Rico, the tattooed enigma, and Carla, with eyes like shattered glass, beckoned him into their web. They whispered promises of escape, of euphoria that transcended the mundane. "Try it, Pereira," Rico grinned, holding out a tiny baggie. "One taste won't hurt." Alex hesitated. The powder, white as bone, seemed harmless. But he'd heard the stories, the descent into madness, the irreversible craving. He remembered his sister's letter, the plea for light. That night, in a dimly lit room, Alex snorted his first line of "Serpent's Kiss." The world shifted, colors bled, sounds blurred. His mind soared untethered. The favela's grime vanished, replaced by a kaleidoscope of sensations. For a moment, he was weightless, free. But the serpent coiled tighter. The high faded, leaving an ache, a hunger that gnawed at his insides. Rico laughed, his eyes hollow. "Welcome to the dance, Pereira." Alex's parents, shadows of their former selves, had their own demons. They'd heard of Serpent's Kiss, the drug that promised oblivion. One desperate night, they took a lethal dose. Their screams echoed through the shack, etching themselves into Alex's soul. He found them, twisted, eyes vacant. The favela mourned silently, as if death were an old acquaintance. Alex's grief curdled into rage. He blamed the drug, the friends who'd introduced it. The serpent had bitten, and its venom seeped into his veins. Alex's mind fractured. Reality wavered, a funhouse mirror of paranoia and ecstasy. Carla danced in the moonlight, her laughter like shards of glass. Rico's tattoos writhed, spelling out secrets. The favela pulsed to a rhythm only he could hear, the Devil's Symphony. He painted murals of madness, walls splattered with blood-red strokes. The police raided the tire shop, but Alex slipped through their fingers. He became a ghost, a phantom in the neon-lit streets. Sarah, the counselor from Hope Haven, reappeared. Her eyes held galaxies, but her voice was stern. "You're not lost, Alex," she said. "Fight the serpent. Find the light." He tried. He weaned himself off the drug, but the cravings clawed at his sanity. The favela mocked him, its whispers urging him back to the dance. Carla and Rico circled, vultures waiting for the kill. One moonless night, Alex fled. The police chased him through the labyrinthine alleys. His heart pounded, a drumbeat of survival. He scaled walls, leaped rooftops, defying gravity. The favela watched, a silent audience to his desperate ballet. At the edge of the city, he stood on a precipice, the abyss below, the stars above. The serpent hissed, its fangs dripping poison. But Alex chose life. He leaped, arms outstretched, and fell into the void. Alex survived, the serpent's kiss fading to a memory. He returned to the kickboxing gym, his fists reclaiming purpose. The ring became his confession booth once more. Carla and Rico vanished, swallowed by the favela's hungry maw. And when the rain fell, Alex stood by the bridge, the same one that had tempted him before. His parents' faces haunted him, but he painted them anew, a canvas of forgiveness, of redemption. "I did it," he whispered to the wind. "I went from addict to avenger." The small cabin stood on the outskirts of the city, a forgotten relic of solitude. Alex, his mind a tempest of despair, looped the noose around his neck. The rope bit into his skin, a cruel embrace. The world blurred, a kaleidoscope of pain and memories. But fate intervened. The door splintered open, and the police stormed in. Their voices echoed, a chorus of salvation. They cut him down, their hands gentle yet firm. Alex gasped, air rushing back into his lungs. The abyss had spat him out, but it left scars, both visible and hidden. The courtroom smelled of old wood and judgment. Alex, shackled and hollow-eyed, faced the judge. The charges, attempted suicide, endangering public safety, hung heavy. The gavel fell, a resounding echo of condemnation. 30 years in prison, a lifetime behind bars. The media feasted on his downfall. Headlines screamed, "Failed suicide, failed humanity." They dissected his life, the Joker turned broken man. His parents' deaths, their blood on his hands, became fodder for tabloids. Alex was a villain, a cautionary tale.